Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome to Top of the World. I'm Simon. This is the project I'm currently working on. We've done the rear end, so we've collected it, we've assessed the car in the first video, we've done the rear end in the second video. Now it's time to put the car into service mode. Drain the fluids, take the front off, I have, without falling over that ball. Done myself a list of where I'm going. The list will expand and contract until we've completed everything on the list. There's corrosion on the front, so I'm quite keen to get the whole front off and tidy that up. We know that the oil cooler is good, and we know that the radiator is good, and the initial water leak, I got the expansion tank off. The initial water leak we found when it was on the trailer. We've pressurised the system filled it with water, pressurised it with pressure air up to 4 bar. It's not leaking, right? So I don't know why it was coming out underneath the car, whether it was just from the expansion tank, but I seem to think I had a split hose round the back of the engine and it's not showing me that at all. My brother, the ever cheerful optimist, said that if there was a leak it would be the heating matrix. And I keep telling him we're not talking about that because I'm not doing that. Have we got the passenger seat and the carpet out ready to do the transmission module? No, we're going to get it in service mode first. Really because I've got most of the parts I need. I'm still waiting for the crank lock. And I know I've heard other people say you can stick an Allen key in there. No, I need this thing that bolts in there and holds the crank because I've never done this before, so it's, you know. Right, let's get it in the service mode. We'll start by dropping all the fluids. I need to show you this. My brother has gone on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this. So I've removed the battery and he keeps telling me this is a really bad weak spot for the car. Look at that. There is all manner of crud and dampness and wetness. And this is the route into the car apparently. And the battery tray don't look great. Probably about the most rust I've seen on the car. So since it unbolts here, here, and 2 at the front, we're going to take that out and then we can get in there and clean it up and find these tubes that apparently let all the water out and see what the rust is like underneath there. But I can tell you, it don't look good. So we're going to have that out next. Oh. Mysteries. I didn't want to come out that easily. Right, okay. It's not so bad. Bit of surface rust. Right, what we get under here then? Okay. Oh, that looks very good, does it? Right, that's really wet and nasty in there. So, there is a hole there though, quite a big hole. But there's no rock down there. Right, let's clean all that up and see what we can't turn that into, because that don't look great at the moment. We've put the pollen filter back in, covered it up with a bag, keep it clean. Right, we've renovated all this in here. All painted up, all bolted back in. Right, now we're onto the water, disconnecting the water. Oh, before we did the water, we disconnected all the electrics over here. Right, all of this has got to come off with a front clip. All of that. The whole front of the end of the car's coming off with all the radiators and the electrics attached. Then we do the water. So, we remove the top hose from there, and remember I've had a question mark over this water system right from the start, but I filled it up from the tank, I pressurised it, nothing leaked. Right, well I've taken the bottom hose off. Now ignore the oil because that was already in there, but that water is clear, right, which means that's all the water that I've put in there. No coolant, just water, and that's empty. And there's more water that comes out of motorbikes than that. So, What happened to all the coolant that was in the car? And why, when we put it under pressure and filled it up with water, did it not leak? So I got a real big question mark now over where all the fluid in this car's gone and what has happened since it's been stuck in that garage going through winter after winter after winter of -40. Because when it was parked, you know, it had all the nice pink stuff in it. Everything that it was supposed to, and it was all full up and did what it was supposed to do, and now I've got a little bit in the bottom of there. So I don't know. So underneath, in both the front bits where the panel's removed, there is a bolt up here that has to be done, wherever that is. There, that has to come out. There is another one on this side that has to come out, up there. These ones are off here. Those ones are off on that side. And then in the wheel arches, you take the liner out, and then there are 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. They've got to come off. All the electrics have got to come off. That's interesting, that's not actually attached to it. Oh, yeah. That's the bumper off. Okay. Okay. And we have to be really careful with these things, because these are a lot of money and they don't look good, does it? So we have to fix this, because we definitely don't have anything in the budget for new ones, and we have to be careful not to drop it. So put it on the floor. It is plastic and not glass, and then okay, that was not so bad, but it is bad. Now what I've done is I've unbolted these, one on each side, and I should be able to lift this front cooler up and down, or out, or I'm not sure yet. Something like that, perhaps. Well, the radiator's, what you might say, completely blocked. Okay. Right, there is a radiator drain plug there. So that's the next thing we're going to disconnect. We've disconnected the hose from down there, so there can't be anything in it. Well, we're definitely learning as we go. Right, so I had to undo these steel lines, the corroded ones, top and bottom. They were a bit of a challenge to get out. Right, they definitely need cleaning a lot. And that's the radiator off. So what we've learned is it's an oil cooler and radiator in one. So there's your water in, or top and bottom, and there's your oil, top and bottom. So quite how that's split into water and oil, I don't know. What kind of oil is it? Well, it smells like gear oil. And it's dripping out of that line there, and it's not a good colour, if I'm honest. Okay, so we haven't undone this. This is still attached. and we're not much closer to the service position. So now I'm going to assume, since we've undone the edges of the top, we're going to take these off, these bumper hangers, both sides, and then maybe this fan housing and radiator housing section, which appears to be, can't be plastic, no. Yeah, we ain't got to take those out. They're not looking clever at all. No, I don't think so. Okay. So I suppose we start next by taking these bumper hangers off, and then maybe the rest of that will reveal itself. Oh, that's just snapped off anyway. Right, that's the cooling for that, and now I should be, with all the wiring, which I did have to undo, and there's even more wiring to undo. With all its crap on it. Right, I don't like this cooler laid there like that. I don't know what else we can do about that other than remove it. So, right, we spent 30 minutes looking at this with fresh eyes because I had a bad feeling yesterday when I was taking it apart, and my feelings only got worse. So I've just used compressed air and cleaned this off much more than it was. Does it look bad? So my bad feeling is, right, this is not a restoration. This is put the car back on the road and use it. Have I dumped lots of money in cars before and lost money? Not many. No, not many at all, really. We've always managed to renovate, build, sell for profit, drive until it broke, no problem. This one, okay. You've been helping me look, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. So my bad feeling. We'll get to the corrosion in a minute. So this is one of the things I spotted early on, right, that don't make me feel good at all. This is a vacuum cylinder, and this moves something inside the inlet manifold. Right, not good. Anyway, then I realised there's a second one there, and this isn't doing anything. It's not connected. And there is what's left of the vacuum cylinder, bag, container. And this is seized completely. Right, can't move it at all. Can just about move that one. So if that's to do with inlet, right, that's to do with air and fuel. Two sides, one side, the other side. I'm guessing all this, I haven't got a clue. So that means the air, fuel mixture, cold start, whatever it is that runs on vacuum to hold these in a certain place doesn't work. Right, I have no idea what manner of level of corrosion is there. And I've blown all this off, right? This the aluminium oxide's really bad. So we're into more parts that I don't know if I can get. Oh well, that's not even on there. Right. So we need all these little things, more stuff, right? New arms, new ones of these, because obviously these are no good. And then we're into all this. Right, that is the air conditioning unit. Right, I'm not replacing that. What I'm replacing is this, because it's C-solid. This is the alternator. Obviously, really heavily corroded. Doesn't look like the engine mount's much good. Right, I was fearful of that. The main crank pulley that's rusted, but it'll clean up. This doesn't run very well. This can I get it to move? I can get it to move. I can probably free that up, the compressor. And we haven't even taken this lot off yet, let alone gone into here. So, you know, I can't afford to restore this. This is supposed to be replace the timing belt, replace the alternator, put the main, you know, serpentine belt on, put it all back together, and no. You know, what kind of manner of mess am I in here? I'm into it now. So, if this can't stay like this, I've got to make a decision whether to disconnect this air conditioning unit, take it out completely. And I'm still assuming that is their transmission cooler, although there's obviously this radiator is shared with something. And some of you are screaming at me out there, but that's okay, because I've still done all this without any kind of book, right? I have no idea, other than years of experience and a good level of common sense, what on earth I'm doing in here. So this is definitely not a how-to video, right? Because am I doing all right? Yeah. Anyway, we need to have the right instructions for this engine. We don't need a book for the car per se, because they're like chicken's teeth, but we do need the technical spec for the engine, because we got to set the timing and all the other things we got to do. We have no idea what these do, other than I can tell you they all go into the inlet manifold, which means it's to do with fuel and air. So are my pistons good? Do we now take out, before we go any further, the coil packs and look at all the spark plugs? How long has this been like this? Well, I don't know. I've only ever run the car very short distances. So, and it's been sat a long time. And I've still got concerns over water in here somewhere. What do you think, bud? Eh? Yeah, you don't care, do you? He thinks we should have put the Land Cruiser on the road first. That's what he thinks. Right then. What have you missed? Not a lot. What I can do now, though, is pull that out. Okay, what does that smell like? Well, the oil was on the mark on the button, but that smells of varnished gas or old petrol, depending on which side of the pond you're on. But that smells bad. That does really bad. It smells bad from here, so if you got up close, so that's not good. Okay, so I've taken off the timing belt covers, and this is where we are. It looks great, right? What have we established? Well, we've established that the belt is not that old, nor is it cracked or split in any way, and the wheels were replaced last time it was done. We've established the intake manifold actuators. There's two of them. This one's broken completely. Oh, it's just bits hanging there. Should all be connected. This one's no good either. If you was to buy the non-genuine article in the US, which was the only place I could find them, they're $345 each. Well, obviously, Simon, they can't be $345. No, they are. Anyway, have I found them on eBay for 20-something pounds each? Yes, I have. So we'll be ordering up 2 new ones of those, and the little arms and the little doodads that go with it. This one here at the moment, this inlet rail, is seized. This one moves. Okay, that one's seized. So I've got to do something about that. Are we taking the inlet manifold off? No, we're not. So there's, you know, steel corrosion on the steel, aluminium corrosion on the aluminium. all these little particles in here that you can see. This is all aluminium corrosion, except this here. Right? You can see that's brand new. Well, why is that brand new, Simon? Because that there, I believe, is the water pump. And we're also replacing the water pump because that's what you do when you do the belt. So the belt's good and new, and the water pump has been replaced at the same time. So we are ultimately in here replacing bits that probably don't need to be replaced. Well, that also tells me, right, since this is shiny and new, because this is the new water pump, that means the thermostat's been done, because I'm also doing the thermostat. That could potentially tell me the fact that this was all sprayed up and cleaned up, that the timing chains and tensioners were done at the same time. And I have got new tensioners and timing chains for both sides. And now I'm wondering, now I've seen how new the wheels are and how all this looks so good here. There is a nut missing there. I think it's only for the casing, right, okay. We're going to redo this belt, and we've got the new tensioner which is down there, and we have to have this off anyway because this is no use, and I'm hoping I can free that up. But if I can find in the service records, and I've got the service book, but if I can find when that was done, I can see whether the cams were done at the same time. Because the cam seals in there, I don't know if you can see them, they're also really clean. So, does that mean somebody was in here before me and they've done it all? And you can see there's a fresh scratch. I haven't done that. That's the tool that fits on here. I've got the tool to lock the cams. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this up and get rid of as much of the corrosion as I can. And then, because there's no belt on it, I think the next thing to do, I still haven't got that damn fan off, the next thing to do is drop out the alternator. And that's a thing in itself. But I've got this issue here. This is something to do with air feed, air flow, air pump of some sort. It's all connected to the air system, but one of the brackets is broken, so it shouldn't move around like that. This one behind here, the rubber is broken. This being air is a right royal pain in the backside, but if I disconnect it, it means I've got to get it refilled and repressurised, and that's more money. I don't know where I'm going with that. Look at that. That's water pipe, that is. Yeah. That is water pipe. Corrosion. Corrosion is the biggest thing on this. Is it cold in here this morning? Oh yeah, it certainly is. The crystallisation outside, well, the beauty of outside, firstly, because we're locked into this frozen wasteland, the beauty outside is stunning, but the crystallisation is quite amazing. These are my favourite trees. They're just beautiful in the winter. Everywhere's beautiful in the winter. But the crystallisation everywhere. Look at that. Everywhere looks like that. So, and the sky is blue, right, and the sun obviously doesn't come over the horizon anymore, and it looks quite light out here, but it's constantly snowing. It just constantly comes down. Anyway, even though I've come out here without a hat on and gloves on, briefly, it is exceedingly cold. Right, so, where are we this morning? I've just emptied the oil into that can there so that I can remove the oil filter And there's no way you can do this without getting oil on you. It's just not even possible. It doesn't look in very good condition, if I'm honest. I'd be intrigued to see if there's a date on it. And this is where the whole service history and what I'm seeing inside the engine is confusing me to what I'm seeing in other places. So I'm confused. And you'll see when I get this oil filter out, it's not looking new. Oh, well, that's just a fucking mess. That is, it's just an absolute mess. No shiny new one. Scratched the date into it. I don't actually think that's right, but it's close. It's something like that. That stopped dripping, has it? No. There's no date on it, but the oil filter's actually rusted, both around the end and on the body itself. So, and the colour of the oil is not telling me this was serviced when the book says it is. But I don't know, I can't understand. Anyway, you know, it's thick and black and smells bad. So, and that's rusty. It's not what you expect to see in an oil filter that's... Anyway, I suppose the years have taken its toll on that, as many other things. I've actually had very little problem with bolts. Oh, I can see something there. Why is that broken? This alternator is actually... That alternator is actually broken. Snapped. The casing snapped. Maybe I should undo that, and that might give me enough movement to be able to drop that out. Maybe that's the idea. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Right, now we should be able to get to the wiring at the back to undo that. What on earth? So this is part of the moulding. But look at that. Certainly don't look good. Crack all the way through there. Looks like it's blown on that rusty bolt, or is the rusty bolt because the casing's actually snapped. It's broken there, and there, and there. aluminium. And the block's aluminium. Yeah, but I've pressurised it. I pressurised the water system and nothing came out. I filled it out with water and I pressurised it. And I couldn't get it to leak. You know, -40, that'll kill a lot of things, that will. And it's that winter after winter after winter. And now I'm seeing that. Okay, that's all wired up. Let's see if we can get that back where it belongs. Right, see if I can remember how to make the special tool. Okay, that should do it. All Volkswagen Audi electrical connectors are the same. You should be able to disassemble it with a hair clip like this. Clip the ends off, bend the ends in slightly. We should be able to get that out. Let's go and find out. There you go, just like that. Right, that's that one out. That's the easy bit. Now let's go see if we can get that stubby bit out. Put the clips back. Oh, that might have gone. Oh yeah, there you go. Right. So what that does, when you put that in, there's two little tabs on these. One there and one there. So when you put that either side of it, it's to push those tabs back. And you can see the level of corrosion on this. It's really badly corroded. Not good. So now what we've got to do is open this up. Get all this corroded copper out of here, which it is corroded. Determine how far we got to cut back the cable and then reinsert it. And this is obviously clamped with a machine, how these are made. And I've got to unclamp that, clean it up and then reuse it. There's all them off without breaking any. We'll apply the same method to the other side. Right. Same method. Is this a better method than putting your screwdriver where they're just going to break? Right, I don't even need to guess. I can tell you they're going to break. So by doing this, we're just lifting the clip above the little catch. I wonder how you get the shit out of there. Right, 1. This is not, I think this is 7. Firing order. I wouldn't say they look very clean in there, if I'm honest. They're not clean in there at all. I'm going to have to somehow vacuum that out. See, it's got quite a lot in that one. That's cleaner, but you can see it all sitting down the bottom there. We don't want that dropping in the cylinders. As it is, what we're going to do is take the plugs out and put them back in. There's no oil in there, so although that one could possibly look a little wet. So we know the gasket's good. Four degrees in here. It's 4 degrees in here, and I lit the furnace at 6:30 this morning, and I've had it running hot. And it is currently 13:15. It's light outside, as you can see. We are frozen, frozen, frozen. So, what's the temperature in this building? So much colder. So much colder, so much colder. So everything is just struggling today because the temperatures on the other side of that door there are extreme. He thinks we're going out for a go of ball. That's not happening, no chance. Right, cam locking tools. Okay. So I just put that on there to make sure I'm somewhere close. We have to properly align that up. So what's important about the cam locking tools is that you have different size pins, a big one and a small one. So the big holes have to be facing each other when we go to line up the two cams. And you can see the holes on either side of that. Big ones in the middle, small ones on the outside. So we're right. Our timing mark. Okay. Where is our timing mark? There. What's it supposed to line up to? Well, I don't have a clue, right? Because it's not lining up with anything, because there's nothing to line it up to. Right? There's nothing there to line it up with. I do know I'm close, and the final, am I absolutely right, will be this, is that. And that is our crank locking tool. That will only lock in one place. So, the next job is to get all the way, I've showed you where it is, it's all the way in there on the side engine. Get the plug out, right, which I know is an issue, and then get that in. As I'm pushing that in, I've got to rock the crank so it sits in properly, and then I can do it up tight, and that locks the main crank. That. So we'll see how far off we are on the timing marks. Does my cam locking tool fit on there nicely at the minute. No, it does not. No, absolutely not. Let's give some extra light to the subject. So I can get it to sit in there, just about, but it's just not quite right there either. It's close, but close ain't good enough. It has to lock into that completely, right, and be absolutely 100% right. So I'm close where I am at the minute, but now I've got to take that plug out of the hole and then get this crank locking tool in the right place. That'll set my top dead center on my main crank, and then this should fit onto my two cams. There are marks on the cam gears either end. That one's upright, that one is not. Am I slightly concerned this engine might be a little out of timing? I'm not sure about that, not yet. We just need to make sure we can get this in and locked, and then we'll see if they're out, but I don't think they are. And you can see there, that is my crank locking tool in place. It slid straight in, so I had top dead center right. It is locked off, the crank is solid. So, then once I'd done the solid crank, we came up here and pushed my cam locking tool straight into position. So, service position on this Audi, on this engine, right, is achieved. Right, wow. It's hard for you to be able to, maybe you can see in the gap. Right, there's no wear to that tensioner head. It is all this funny colour. Is it just because it's never been warmed up, or hasn't been warmed up for years, and it's just been sat there? Right, I know they're plastic guides, but there's just no wear on it. I was wondering, none of it looks too bad, except it's all this funny colour. And there's build-ups of muck in there, but on the whole, really good condition. Oh, I'm going to put a couple of things in context because I've been waffling this and waffling that. What you haven't seen, because this is a video and it's edited for those that... Anyway, so the engine number on the engine matches what's on the paperwork. On the build sheet, and I've got two build sheets, one in the car, one on the service manual. On the build sheet, the engine says it's an ARS. It also says that the car was manufactured, or at least registered, in February of 1999. So it's a late 1998 build with the ARS engine in it. I have spent days researching the ARS engine and trying to find technical documents and parts. Days. Absolute days. The actual work on the car, right, has been a few hours as I found out more information or got parts. Anyway, so before I did this, you saw me take one of the head covers off and reveal what is very clearly a very recently replaced timing chain tensioner and timing chain. Right, did I buy new ones? Yeah, I've got them in. Two completely new kits. Right, for that specific car, for that year, for that engine. Are they right? In no way whatsoever. None. Timing chain tensioner. Looks like timing chain tensioner. All wrong. Timing chain. Wrong size. Gaskets. Not even close. Not even close. This is for the ART. Yeah. If you go to a specialist company, parts company, and you order it all up for that car, for that year, for that engine, and then you say, rather than just take my word for it, have one of your in-house experts review it just to make sure I've ordered the right parts, please. Because it's a free service, just takes a bit longer. Done. Delivered, 2 sets. Not cheap. The other thing, then, because I went start through checking the parts, the expansion tank for that car, for that year, for that engine, new one, wrong in every single way. No, not in every single way. Right, so the outer bolt pattern is correct. It's the only thing about that that is correct. All the pipes in the various positions, all wrong. Everything about it is wrong. No use. So that's all a waste of time. That's all got to go back because that's a lot of money I've invested in parts that don't fit that engine. When I opened that cover and I saw there's nowhere on the tensioner guide, because I've got it open, you should do it anyway, right? Shouldn't you? Yeah, you should. But they're the wrong parts. I've got to send them back. Right? So before they give me my money back so that I can buy the right parts, if they've got the right parts, and I can almost bet they have not, because everything I've looked for on that car is obsolete. So you can only get used stuff. Or there is a company in Germany that bought all the end of stock from Audi and holds all of that. Timing chain kit. Right, that looks to be correct. I already had the serpentine belt because I ordered that years ago. The water pump, we don't know if that's right. What else was wrong? So you saw me fit the alternator. The alternator didn't fit when I tried to put it back in because the bit of plastic, it just wouldn't fit. Anyway, even this is wrong. So this is the new one off of the new alternator, and the one that's on the alternator is the old one that came off the defunct broken alternator is there. And it was 20 centimetres, nearly an inch, this was in the wrong place. It's the right alternator, 150 amp for that car, for that engine, apparently, that's wrong. And they're just a few of the tiny little massive problems I've had with that car on that year with that engine in it. And before you all start, there isn't anybody that's got an S6 with an ARS engine in it, right? I've seen the comments. No, you haven't. No. Have I then been onto YouTube to see if I can find anybody else that's worked on an... Oh, yes. There is a man, and the engine was fitted as new, as stock, in a 2004 Volkswagen Touareg. That is the only ARS engine the same as mine, or even similar to the one that's in that Audi that I have seen. So, I can't tell you what kind of issue is going on there. I know the ARS was earlier than the ART, and then all the models changed. Everything that is listed on every parts store is this. The little water pipe that's heavily corroded, obsolete, can't get it anywhere, period. Just not available. So some of the more common items that might be in supply and demand and switch between cars, you can get, right? But anything individual to that particular engine, like that, obsolete. It's not happening. Can I get that little... No, it's obsolete. I can't get it anywhere in the world. There are some things I found that are in the US that they say they're for the same engine. Parts numbers don't match up. So, have I spent 2.5 hours this morning, right, checking, cleaning with the finest of toothbrush, which is wherever it is, and these things, to make sure that cover and the gasket is suitable to go back on. Because if it isn't, it's going to leak. And they're notorious for leaking. Well, I say they're notorious for leaking. There's nothing on the ARS, just the ART. And if you presume something is for the ARS and then you dig further into it, like I have done with all the parts, the part numbers don't match, the patterns don't match, and then when they say they do and it arrives, right? No, it doesn't. It's not the same. So that the engine definitely matches the documents, right? So the engine is specific to that, which I believe is an S6. Was it an earlier development or a development of the S6? I know it was one of a batch of 100. I can't find any more like that. So there we go. We know it was a government car, and I can tell you that because the man that I bought it from told me the story of where it was, which is an interesting story in itself. No, not really. He bought it in Germany. It'd been sat for a while. Obviously had a major service in 2015. He bought it in Germany, and for some reason, he had to come to the UK. Well, I bought it in England because a left-hand drive Audi is no good to him in England. And I didn't need it in England because we were coming to Sweden. And I never really looked into it. We went and bought it, put it on a trailer. We trailered it to my warehouse, right? It left my warehouse, went on a boat, right, and came here on the trailer. Never came off the trailer. From the time I bought it to the time it got here, it never came off the trailer. So, what my plan is I've actually got the torque wrench on the radiator over there because it was hanging up in the sawmill shed, and it is currently minus 26 Celsius outside. It's supposed to be minus 24 last night or something, whatever it was. No, it's a lot colder than it is, right? And I appreciate for all you that are sticking with me through this, that don't normally watch this stuff, right? The snow playing videos are coming, but I'm going to put that cover back on, and then I'm going to do the timing belt. But there is a problem with the timing belt. Let me show you. Right, so I have got that back on there. I haven't connected up the fuel lines or anything because I've got to torque it back down and make sure, right, I'm really happy with the way it's sitting. Anyway, so I then come out here to look at the timing belt tension and everything to make sure what I've got looks the same. Yep, done all that. And I said to you about the timing mark, which is off centre here, somewhere on the back. I can't even see it now. Yeah, there. Is the cam locked? Yeah, the cam is locked. The cam is locked solid. Okay, and then I'm looking at this, right? This is green paint has been marked, and it's one tooth off of that mark. Right? So is the other side. You can see now, there's the green paint. That's what it should match up to. That is one tooth over. And the cam is locked in top dead centre. And this fits. So, without boring everybody, right, and the yellow mark is up, and the yellow mark is up. So they contradict them marks. Well, without boring everybody, these are not on a keyway, right? On this particular engine, they are not on a keyway. And when you do the timing chains and the followers on the cams, which have just been done, well, not just been done, but they've done very few kilometres since it's been done, you have to take these off. And apparently, under here, there's timing marks. Apparently. And I've always been concerned that you have this locking tool and everything's locked in, but then you have to pull these off, right? Actually pull them off of the end of the cam, but there's no keyway. And I was concerned about that myself. So then you've got to tighten them back up and allegedly set them to a timing mark under here, right? But I can see from that there, right, that is one tooth out. And this is one tooth out. Now, I never saw that green paint before, but you can see there is green paint and it's one tooth out. And yet this bar fits and the cam's locked. Well, if these have got no keyway on them, right, so they're just held in place with pressure, and that timing mark in there is not correct, could you tighten them both up so that this fits and it's one tooth out? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Or am I just not even having a clue what I'm talking about and just imagining that green paint there? Oh, and that green paint there. So that green paint tells me, right, that both those cogs have been tightened back up, one tooth out of place. If that's even a thing. The crank locking tool is in. Anyway, so the next thing for me to do is take that lot off so I can take this wheel off so we can change the belt. There is green paint on there, I've just seen. Look. That's on the water pump, which also is new and shiny, albeit very clearly there's a nut missing off of there. What a carry-on. What an absolute carry-on. Never in my life have I seen so many things I don't understand. When you see things like that, and yet it's at a full service, so this must have been done after the full service, or this was done because these are all obsolete. Right? You just can't buy these anymore. Could you buy them in 2015? I don't know. I don't know. Why am I working on a highly computerised, obsolete engine? Well, sometimes you just got to know what you know and stop when you have to stop. So I'm keeping going. I'm keeping going. But I've got to come back in here because it's so cold out there. It's about 0 in that shop, even though the heating's flat out. Well, if you've managed to hang in here this long, no matter how much rabbiting on I've done, let me show you where I'm up to. So we've completely taken off everything now. So that's back on and it's all torqued up and the plugs are torqued. I haven't done up the coil packs yet. They're just loose. So we're done in here. We know where we are with that. Now I've got off all the serpentine belt, pulleys, tensioner and all of that. And I'm cleaning up as I go. Now the next job to do, in order to get to the tensioner and replace that, I have to support the engine, undo the engine mounts, undo these 3 bolts, take that off. I can get to this, replace this and this. Take the belt off and put a new one on. Replace the pulleys. This one, this one, this one. And change the... Anyway, so it's Friday afternoon. I haven't been able to do prolonged periods in there just because of the cold. But that is where I've got to. And that is going to end the video. So I appreciate you all putting up with me while I'm doing this silly thing, because this is exactly what I'm doing. And then, you know, I don't make stuff up for my channel. I film what I'm doing and this is what I'm doing. And normal duties, snow ploughing and stuff is going to resume shortly. I just need to keep ploughing my way through this because this is obviously stuck in my doorway, my entrance. I got the van out there plugged in, but I don't think the engine heater works. And today's been minus 26, minus 27, she ain't going to start. So, and I got a floor to sort out. Anyway, I've got things to do and you ain't going to get her running, because normally when it's that cold, I bring her in because I didn't think the engine heated working. And she's got a Webesco, but that don't do what it's, you know, they're all old and broke, is what I'm saying. Right, anyway, thank you all for sticking with me. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.